being real. And you often say this, we are real. Well, if someone asks how real the wonderful worldwide educators are, so how would one reply? I ask this question because we say we are real. When we say we are real, we immediately send a message that others are unreal or unnatural. So what makes us real? The understanding, the perception, and the recognition of ourselves as free beings of light and working from the universal position? Or is it pointing out the machinations of the authoritarians? Or recognizing creation for what it is? How is our real beingness? How can our real beingness be understood, Duane?
With everything, you might say there's endless variables. It's not just literal, black and white. Okay, this is what the world kind of wants. They just want, it's like, well, what is the answer to life? Well, blah, 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 that's it. Oh, okay, now I got the answer to life. Now I can just get back to my personal life and do whatever. Well, that's fine. When I say real, okay, and actually I've redone the word. It's capital R and then a little e and then capital A-L-L, real. Okay, the all idea came into this after the is idea in 07. So, and it makes sense because it includes all. But when I'm referring to the, okay, let's be real or etc., it is simply making sense of where we're at. That's all. Just, it's like, get real. Just makes, what we're really saying is, hey, just make sense of the situation. Does it make sense to, blow up other people so that we can control the world? This is the view of the U.S. government. It's like, get real. Does this make sense? You don't need to do that, but they've decided to do it. So, you might say in a way that makes sense to them because they're afraid. So, there is, in a way, there's really no way to pinpoint things down. We do the best we can because this is how life is. It's like the air we breathe. It goes into everything, It goes into every little crack or whatever, through your walls, through wherever. It's everywhere. Life is everywhere. And the reality of life is that according to creation and how we are in creation, there's endless possibilities. There's no end to it. So to try to pin something down saying, oh, it's this or that, it is one moment. And then the next moment, it's something else. That would be like saying, well, when the Wright brothers invented the airplane they did, that's it. That's the ultimate. But you can see that it wasn't, because there's endless possibilities with it. So when I say something real, that's the best reference that I can use, but then I break it down. But I really like the idea of just simply make sense of the situation. Does that make sense? Does it make sense to put fluoridation in the water when we don't need it? You see, there's the comparison to write about. So, it takes a lot of definition, and just like the Skypes, this is why I suggest coming into the Skypes and even starting one, because you'll learn a lot. But at the same time, what you've come through, that was for that time. And so now, how is it that you are going to relate to the new nowness that life is? Because life is always now. I just use these ideas as a reference. And this becomes the fun part. So this becomes the challenge, and you make your own adventure with it. That's that part. See, in creation, we have the adventure of things, just like we see in the movies and whatever. But now we have something real to relate to that is pure of heart, you might say. But in the real universes, when you recognize this, it is like that, but it's not the same, because it's a recognition of isness. It's so cool how it is. It's much better. But again, many people will choose the body worlds and creation, which is fine. It's all choice. All of us have that choice. We're just presenting something. So, it's just when I was experiencing this, the best ideas that I could come up with were real guidance, real whatever, real education. And so nobody else uses them. And so then I define it. What is real education? Well, it's a reference to the true reality life is, and not just standard indoctrinated education. So you see the two. And so again, but you have to explore to be able to see that. It's like, it's like Columbus going across the sea. Until he gets there and finds whatever, all he can do is kind of assume something or imagine. That's it. But then when he gets there, he finds out, wow, there is something else. And so again, as we explore this, and we start off with the new you and the dream visions and whatever, that's a start to get to some point of the real side. Then eventually the individual starts discovering something and has a comparison to the physical part. It doesn't X out, or it doesn't negate anything in creation. It's just that, it's kind of like the clothes you wear. You decide when you're going to wash your shirt. Okay, you can wear it for years, or all of a sudden one day you realize, you know what? Oh, okay, I want to get real with this. I want to wash my shirt. So that makes sense. See, so again, you're getting real with it. And so there's many references to this. This is the fun part. And being able to, create these references that make sense. Yeah, and I like that. I like the challenge, because I'm always seeing more with the isness and how it comes out and what I'm relating to, etc. And the groups and Facebook give me a good opportunity to create all these variables, these little ideas that, millions of people can see. And that's the point, but I'm moving towards the projects to give a better demonstration of what's going on, and this will be reflected also on the real side now that people know how to get to that part. So this is where it becomes even more real, which is more fun. But again, it's up to the individual. Only the risk takers will see this. Everybody else, again, most people will want to stick with their old routines and just grow old again, thinking that, oh, this is just something to do. It's a cute idea. But no, until you totally step into it, like being the sun shining, you've got all these restrictions. So you decide, how much of this how real you want to be. And again, life is far too real. You will never be able to understand the isness of life. No way. And that's the best part, because it's so awesomely far too real that it bothers the personal self. So, yeah, first of all, the reality is that just simply learning to make sense of where you're at right here, instead of all these cute ideas that you've brought from all the other spiritual paths and understanding and your education, whatever. These things are fine, but these things are just created ideas in this one-dimensional world. That's as far as they go. So hanging on to them and carrying them, bringing them around and discussing them all the time, when you could actually learn to see into the real universes and bring something that really relates to the isness, I see that makes more sense. That becomes more real, again, but it's choice. We have to respect the choice of others. We are not barbarians here. We have to deal with the barbarians, the global wardens who control the prison planet here. But it's okay. It's okay. It's part of the wake up. So who will take on the challenge, or just going to kind of go back to their little personal world and wait for all the effects to show up and then have to deal with them and wonder what to do? It's a choice, isn't it? So it's time to get real or don't.